All right, friends, we're going to start off laying down. So come all the way down and spread yourself out. Give yourself a lot of time to settle in and just breathe deeply. Big breath into your whole torso, expanding outward in all directions. And big exhales, pulling all of your torso back into center. Ribs are moving, belly's moving. Continue to grow the breath, kind of stretching it out, finding the boundaries at the bottom and the top. Maybe go a little further at the top of your inhale and a little deeper exhale at the bottom of each breath out. New clean air coming in, cleaning out your lungs and your blood and your tissues. Old cell waste, okay, getting out as you exhale. Clean it out. And hopefully feel some extra freedom in your chest and your belly after just laying here a little bit. Notice some spaciousness between your shoulders. As if the interior of your rib cage was expanding outward, not just the ribs. Whole heart expanding and contracting. Notice how your body feels after just a little bit of deep breathing. You can use this as a tool anytime. You can use it while you're driving, while you're cooking, while you're working, falling asleep. Long, slow breath to reset all of your systems. And also rooting you to this present moment. Notice how you feel right now. Keep your long, slow breath, friends. Keep that. Okay, we'll start to move. Upper body first. So, snow angel wings. Exactly like you would make a beautiful snow angel in the ground. Start to wing your arms up overhead, kind of dragging them across the floor with a slight bend in the elbows, and then wing them down, palm up next to your hips. And we'll take a few snow angels just like that. Wing it up, then wing it down. Okay, and depending on where you would like to feel some gentle release in your shoulders, you can experiment with putting more of a bend in the elbows to change the way your shoulders rotate through this movement. Keep breathing, reach up, and wing down. Should feel some great warmth in your shoulders and back. Building strength in the back body means that the front of the chest, okay, your rib cage gets some great support, and we feel more at ease opening the chest and keeping the heart soft and open. Okay, next time you reach up, hold it right there. You're reaching out long through your arms. Reach out through your toes as well. Start to lengthen your body. Really reaching out, maybe reach out through one side a little more and through the other side a little more. Okay, getting a little side stretch. And then from here, reaching out, take a big breath in and pull your low back onto the floor. With your exhale, bring your knees in towards your chest, hands to shins or hands to thighs. Pull your forehead in the direction of your knees. You don't have to touch. Low back stays on the floor as you inhale and get long. Exhale, squeeze it in, forehead towards your knees. Use your breath here. Again, inhale and exhale. Keep it going. You're building heat in the front body here. Building strength in your core and your abdominals, also giving you an instant release for your low back. 3 more. Pull that low back down. 2 more. Last one, pull it in. Let's see if we can hold here. Strengthening that core. Breathe and pull your belly button down to the ground. Okay, I'm going to give you the option to stay here and keep it a little bit more gentle while we take 3 more breaths. If you want more challenge, reach your hands behind you, reach your feet away from you. Breathe, 2 more breaths. Make sure your low back stays on the floor for this last long, slow breath. At the bottom of your exhale, bend your knees back in if they were out, and release your head back to the floor. You could take cactus arms beside you, just resting your upper body now. And let's take some gentle twists of the knees, hovering to one side and back to center. And then hover to the other side and back to center. And let's take a few like this, just like this. Hover through center. Remember to exhale and inhale. Close your eyes. Let this twist gently massage and recalibrate your whole spinal column. If you look away from your knees, you can allow the twist to move all the way up your spine. Okay, it should feel nice. A couple more. See if maybe you want to press your arms against the floor as you drop the knees, deepening the twist. Press the floor. Maybe one more. Nice, bring it back into center. And then from here, just release your feet onto the floor next to your hips. And then you could keep your arms out wide like this. I think it feels nice, kind of like a shoulder massage against the floor. Just make sure as we begin to move into a bridge posture, which is where we're headed, that you keep your neck nice and long. So imagine that you are a giraffe neck here. You have your nose pointed straight up at the ceiling so that you keep your chin away from your chest, okay? Chin stays away from your chest. All right, friends, imagine that you have a big, heavy book between your knees and draw your knees toward each other to hold that big, heavy book there. But there's space for the book, so leave about 3 inches. Okay, you're feeling the whole inner side of each leg really turned on. And then with your inhale, you're lifting the hips nice and high. Just as high as you like, okay? With your exhale, you're bringing them back to the floor. For extra challenge, you might even hover your hips off the floor. Now let's take a few more. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. To make this more gentle, just lift the hips maybe half as high, okay? Keep the knees squeezing in. Keep breathing and moving up and down. Hold that big book between your knees. All right, really pointing your nose up. You get a nice kind of mooshing out of your shoulders and your upper back. Next time the hips come up, hold it there. We'll just breathe here in a bridge pose. Now I'm going to give you some options to play with, okay? Always feel free to come out and drop your hips at any time. Draw the knees toward each other and perhaps experiment with a different arm movement here, arm action, by bending your elbows to point down into the ground underneath your back, okay? Fingertips point up, like robot arms is what I think of them as, okay? Breathe here, pressing the floor down, lifting your heart, pulling those knees inward. One more option you can explore is taking your hands together underneath your hips, interlacing your fingers, and from there, scooching your heart up and lifting it up so that you can tuck your shoulder blades under you. Wherever you are, take one more big breath here, pushing the floor away. As you exhale, think of releasing your spine slowly, one vertebra at a time. Come on down. So slow. Keep breathing. When your hips land, take a moment to windshield wiper them out. Drop your knees side to side. Okay, so we really warmed the front of your body, your abs, okay? We really warmed the back of your body. And now is a great time for us to go ahead and get a little bit more stretchy if we like. So your knees are pointing up, pause there, and bring your knees in. You can tuck your hands behind them. Let's go ahead and rock and roll it up to a boat. See if you can balance on your seat, maybe with the help of your feet on the floor, and then roll it back down to your back. Have fun with it, okay? It doesn't have to be crisp. It can be messy. Take it maybe 3 more times. Roll it down, balance up. Take your knees and your elbows wider for easier balance. Bring everything to center for a more challenging balance. Next one, come up and hold. Hold here and breathe with me. Now I want you to remember you can put your feet down anytime, okay? But no matter what, you're slightly leaning back. And if you can, put your palms together, okay? Keep your spine long, tailbone pointed at your toes. And we're gonna start to twist from here, really warming up your whole core and your back. So turn to the right, tap the floor to the right with your fingers. Take a big breath in, come through center, and turn to the left, tap the floor. Nice and slow, long and strong spine. Inhale, and exhale to the side. Inhale, exhale to the side. Keep your core strong. You can do this with your feet down, okay? If you need to grab your knees, you can just turn to the side. 3 more times on each side. 2 more. Keep that spine long, strong belly. Last one. Nice, bring it back to center. Grab behind your knees and let it go. Wow, great core training with that boat pose. Okay, excellent work. We're switching it over to hands and knees. So roll over to one side. I'll meet you on hands and knees. Okay, friends, right leg out behind you. Go ahead and send it back. And then make sure that as you send that right leg back, the right hip rolls under slightly so that your hips stay level with each other, okay? We want to make sure that the right glute is working rather than just lifting that hip. And we're going to bend the right knee. Think of pointing the right toes at the ceiling, okay? So you'll feel that right glute and hamstring turned on. We're gonna combine this funky leg back here with some cat-cows. So here we go, just like you're doing cat-cows, gripping the mat with your hands, pull your elbows in, and as you inhale, pull your heart forward, looking forward, arching your spine. And with your exhale, push the floor away, rounding your spine. Think of drawing that right knee to your nose. Inhale here, right leg up in the air behind you. Exhale, right knee to your nose. So let's take a few more like this. Just think of arching your spine and rounding your spine. Again, inhale, arch, and exhale, round. Let's do one more. Inhale, and exhale to round. Hold it here. Let's take 3 breaths. Push that floor. 2 breaths. Think of lifting your belly button, shaking out your head. And 1 breath, hugging that right knee in towards your chest. From here, see if you could step that right foot forward next to your right hand. Whew, okay, nice and warm now. I hope you're feeling the warmth. Let's take a little time here in this lunging shape that we've built, just to rock the hips forward and back, okay? Take a little time. You can even come up on your fingertips if that gives you more spaciousness here. Okay, then allow yourself to just settle forward into the lunge. You can stay up on your fingertips if you need to kind of stay backed up and out of the lunge to protect any strain in your hips. But if you can move that left knee back and let the hips sink low, then maybe come down to your hands here, all the way to the palm. And let's take some time just to enjoy this little low lunge and just kind of activate it. Think of pressing down into your legs to resist the floor as you're actively pushing the floor away. And you're also actively drawing the legs toward each other. So you're thinking of the legs and the hips working on all sides. Okay, additionally, that right knee is hugging in toward the midline as if you're trying to push on your right arm with your right knee. Okay, so breathe here. You might start to naturally just drop your head and bend your elbows to point back behind you. Okay, you may feel like you want to drop to 1 elbow today, keeping that nice long spine, maybe 2 elbows. Let your head hang. And we'll take a few more breaths here, friends. I think 3 more long, slow breaths. Just enjoying this lizard lunge, very lizardy and low. For your last 2 breaths, if you want a little bit more opening in the left hip, perhaps you tuck the left toes and lift the left knee while dropping your hips. Last breath here. All right, come out the same order that you came in, no rush. Come up out of your lunge. Okay, tuck the back toes here, hover that back knee, and let's see if we could step this right foot all the way back to a downward facing dog. Step it back and walk it out, and heels pedaling. Feeling the backs of the legs. Thinking of rolling your elbows inward so the shoulder blades kind of slide down your back. Okay, as you're ready here, just go ahead and come up on your tippy toes. Take a big breath in. And with your exhale, walk to your hands and fold. Press into your heels here, roll it up nice and tall. Lift your heart. Think of pressing down into your heels. Your sternum goes up. And as you exhale, drop it into a chair squat. So your hips will come down. Think of looking up. Inhale back up to standing. And exhale here, hinging at your hips. Bring it all the way down. With your inhale, bring it halfway up. Just look forward over the edge of your space. And with your exhale here, fold it. You can really bend your knees. Palms are down here. So with your inhale, step it back to a plank. Okay, just keep it going with your little vinyasa. So exhaling here, elbows come in, come all the way down to the floor. With your inhale, pull on the mat. Ground your tailbone as you lift your heart. It can be really high or really low. Okay, with your exhale, tuck your toes and make your way up to downward facing dog. You can use your knees to come up, or you can come up through a plank. It's up to you. Walk out to your downward facing dog. Walk those heels, shake your head. Hopefully noticing a little more freedom in the posture now that it's a bit warmer. And then from here, go ahead and drop to your knees. And we're back on hands and knees. Okay, and we'll do the other side, just like we did the right side. So now the left leg will be out behind. Okay, tuck that left hip under so it's always level with the right. And we have, of course, the low back is very protected with the strong belly moving up to the spine. Bending that left knee, left toe points up to the ceiling, and maybe you think about it pointing at the back of your head. More of an idea than a real thing, okay? And then with your inhale, you're pulling that heart forward for your cow pose. Think of pointing that left toe at your head. With your exhale, rounding, point that left knee at your nose. And let's take a few cat-cows like that, arching and rounding. Close your eyes here, make it feel just right. Really working that left side. Yeah, working the hip, working the back. One more, okay? One more, and then next time you bring that left knee in, let's hold it right there. Hold and breathe. So build heat in this left hip by tucking the knee up and in. Hold, breathe. Feel a lot of space behind your heart here in your rib cage. One more breath. Nice. See if you could set the left foot down just outside that left hand. All right. So here we are back in a low lunge. Let's take a little time rocking back and forth into this. Rock it forward and back, maybe 5 more times. Okay, feeling the back of the left leg. We notice the hamstring. We notice how it's going in the right hip flexor. Go ahead and settle into that little lunge. Okay, lunging forward with the left foot grounded. And maybe move the right knee where it needs to be. And you can stay up on your fingertips here, or you can gradually sink into it. But before you sink in, of course, you're going to want to activate those legs a little bit. So press down into both legs. Push the floor away gently. Okay, a little strength goes a long way. And then as you start to perhaps experience some release and you want to sink deeper, you can. Okay, or you can choose to stay up in the posture. So please feel out what makes sense for your body. So remember the legs are pushing down, pulling inward, and that left knee is magnetically attracted to your left shoulder. Push the floor and breathe. Feel free to let your head hang. In your lizard lunge, it's very lizardy and low and snaky. Feel the back of the neck release. Just let the neck traction out. This is a great opportunity to just roll your shoulders down your back and let your neck let go. Maybe one last breath here. Long, slow breath in your lizard lunge. Just letting gravity do as much of the work as you can balance. Take yourself out slowly, the way you came in. There's so much time. Okay, from here, could we transition to a downward facing dog? So tuck the right toes behind you, hover the right knee, and if you press your hips up and back, you can slide the left foot back, downward facing dog. So we'll take the same little vinyasa variation that we took last time, just between rounds. So if you'd rather take a little break in child's pose right now, that's also an option. And we can meet in downward facing dog. So here we go, yogi's choice. Inhaling, find a long plank shape. Remember, you can drop your knees to do that, okay? With your exhale, walk to your hands and fold. On your inhale, press into your heels, stack yourself up so tall, lifting your arms, lifting your heart. With your exhale, sit down into a chair squat. Drop your hips, pull your knees toward each other. Inhale to stand tall. Exhale to fold in half at your hips. Perhaps bend your knees. Halfway up on your inhale. Really big fold on your exhale. Hug yourself. Palms are down. Inhale yourself back to a plank. And exhale all the way down. You can use your knees first or challenge yourself to hover them. Okay, your Cobra here on your inhale. Pull that heart up. Press your tailbone down. And with your exhale, downward facing dog. Come on up and back. Walk it out here. Press the floor away. Press into your hands, press into your feet, and feel downward facing dog's really big spreading open kind of magicalness across the back body. If you ever feel tension in the backs of the legs and it doesn't feel right, just bend your knees, okay? You can still be in downward facing dog from there. Okay, start to pull the elbows inward. Think of squeezing the knees inward too, like you're in a chair pose. And how about one more big breath in? And a big exhale through your mouth. Okay, let's keep going, yogis. Inhaling here, that right leg up and out behind you. Exhale here, that right knee swims forward. Drop it outside your right hand there. And then walk your hands over to the left. Okay, hands over to the left. You're all facing out to the left with all your toes and all your fingers now. And just take a moment to arrange yourself so that you feel really comfortable in a wide leg forward fold. Think of your back as a tabletop, so do your best to make it as flat as you can. And the toes turn in slightly as you start to rock the weight into the outer edges of your feet. You might even experiment with lifting your toes and trying to peel your arches up enough for a ladybug to rest under there. So with your strong feet and your active legs, keep in mind you can bend your knees, okay, if you need to. You can always bend those knees. Make sure your feet are about a leg length apart. And we're gonna press into one hand. Just pick one. Reach up with the other hand. Find a big twist as you inhale and look up. With your exhale, top hand comes down. Down hand goes up. We're switching sides. And then again, exhale, bring it down. We're switching sides again. So maybe close your eyes and just do this a few more times. You should experience a very pleasant twisting and massaging of your whole rib cage, as well as a very nice release across the back and insides of your legs. Do your best to keep your tailbone pointed away from the top of your head as you move. And then next time you are up, it doesn't matter what side, just hold it right there, okay? And breathe. Okay, here you are. Hold and breathe. Reactivate your legs. Arches up, toes up. Rock the weight to the outer edges and try to point your tailbone away from the top of your head. Usually that means away from the direction that you're facing. And then see if we could stack the top shoulder a little more precisely over the bottom shoulder. Big breath. One more here, peeling your chest open. And then let it go. Switching sides, bring it up and hold. Hold here. Make sure that bottom shoulder is active. It's not soft. It's not off the clock. Stacking top shoulder, tailbone points away. One more big breath. And let it go. Bring it on down. Go ahead and walk your hands back over by the right foot where we came from, okay? Hands back over to the right. Point those right toes forward. And go ahead and drop the back knee to the floor, the left knee. Okay, from here, my friends, we're gonna transition into a pigeon posture. So go ahead and shimmy that right foot over to the left. You'll have to get your right arm out of the way. And drop the right knee. And then settle in. So take your hands out in front of you, and you can even use your fingertips because we're gonna take a little time to get the legs just right so that we can make this an effective movement, okay? First of all, if you feel pain and you've already put your right foot really close to your hips and you still feel pain, we need to get you out of this right away. So you're just gonna roll onto your back and put your right ankle on your left knee as you grab your left thigh. Figure 4, okay? You're gonna do a figure 4 on your back if you feel pain. But if pigeon is okay and everything's going great, just make sure your 2 hips are level with each other. Check out your hips. The top of the left foot is on the floor, and you want more sensation in your hip, you move the right foot away from you. You want less intensity, you move it towards you. Okay? Then start to walk your hands out and settle in. So you can come down to your elbows to start hanging your head. Feels nice here. And once you've found that you've kind of settled into this posture, okay, and it can be very much a sense of release and rest here. So feel free to release and rest in pigeon posture. Close your eyes. Soften your face. Notice where you feel this posture the most and breathe deeply as if into and out of those places. We're taking a few more breaths here, so take your time getting to know how this posture feels. And also, remember to resist the floor a little bit. So your legs are still actively resisting the floor to some degree. How about 3 more long, slow breaths here? Gently resisting the floor. Releasing any remaining tension in that right hip or left hip or low back. Last breath. Okay, pigeons, take your time coming up and out of this. Wonderful hip stretch, low back stretch. From here, could we bring it up to a downward facing dog? Let's try. Tuck the left toes, lift the left knee, lift your hips up and back, And let's send the right leg back to meet the left. Take some time here, walk it out. Notice how the legs feel. Is there a difference between right and left? All right, from here, let's try the second side. We'll go straight into it. Inhaling here, lift that left leg up and out behind you in the sky. Exhale here, left foot drops between your hands. Okay, we're gonna walk the hands over to the right this time, okay? Over to the right, and I'll spin around to face you. So we're in the same wide leg forward fold. So arrange yourself into a very nice tabletop position here, just like before. Just as before, the feet are a leg length apart. Okay, turn slightly in with the feet. The weight is in the outer edge of the foot and the arches are lifted. So once you've got your legs nice and strong, and remember that they are active here. Okay? You can make it just a little bit or a lot. But you'll start to maybe walk your hands back toward where your feet are. Okay, and you decide how far you'd like to fold. Some folks just want to walk their hands back a little bit and just get the head closer to the floor. Some folks, you're going to want to hang your head all the way. Go for it. So take some time. I want you to take a few breaths here. If your head touches the floor like mine just did, then you can take your feet closer in toward each other. Remember, you can bend your knees too, okay? But take your feet closer so that your head just hangs about an inch off the ground. And breathe. You can even walk your hands back behind where your feet are, but make sure your fingers all point in the same direction as your toes and your elbows point up. Really nice stretch for the backs of your legs here, friends. Really great opportunity for your spine to just be long and hang. How about one more really long, slow breath here? Just enjoying this relaxing forward fold, great release for the whole back of your body. And start to walk your hands back out in front of your feet, back where you were before. And then we'll back out of this. Okay, walk your hands over to the left where you came from. Okay, point the left toes forward. And we'll pop up that right heel. So we're back in a lunge. Go ahead and drop that right knee. And it's time to transition to a pigeon pose on this side. So you can get your left arm out of the way. Shimmy your left foot to the right. And drop the left knee. Take your time. Okay, if pigeon pose does not feel good on this side, you have pain or you're not having fun, flip it onto your back, do a figure 4 on your back, okay? This time the left ankle will be on the right knee and you'll be holding the right thigh, okay? You always have that option, okay? But pigeons, make sure you're leveling your hips off with the mat. Check it out. The top of the right foot touches the floor. And you move the left foot exactly where you want it. Closer, more gentle, farther away, more intense in the left hip, okay? Then once you have all your variables aligned, then start to sink to your elbows. Drop your head. Okay, continue to gently resist the floor with your legs. Remember that the legs are still on the clock. Right, in your pigeon posture, release any unnecessary tension or effort. Perhaps in your face or jaw. How about your hands and feet? Any extraneous effort there that you can release? Only your legs are really working. You're pressing down against the earth gently and thinking of drawing the knees together slightly. Just like in almost every other posture, pressing down, pulling in. Let's have one more really big breath here. Take your time coming up and out of this. No rush, no rush. Hands under your shoulders again. We can transition to a down dog from here. So tuck the right toes, hover the right knee, press the floor away, push it back to downward facing dog. Walk it out. This will be the last time that we do a down dog in this practice. So notice how it's different. Notice how it's the same than when we started. Notice any extra length along the back or the front side of your body. Notice if you still feel a difference from left to right. From here, friends, just drop onto your knees. Come on down to hands and knees. Okay, and we really did some great stretchiness in the lower body. And now I want to bring in a little bit more stretchiness in the upper body before we rest. So keeping your hips just about over your knees should be just fine. And walk your hands out from there. Hips over knees, hands walk out. Just go ahead and drop your head. Okay, so hopefully you feel your chest and your heart kind of peeling open to the ground here. And this is one of those postures where it's different for everyone, and you can stay kind of very gentle in it, or you can move further into it if that's appropriate and it feels good. So forehead on the ground, you're feeling pretty good. You can start to press your fingertips into the ground and think of lifting your palms and then lifting your elbows. And if that feels pretty good, you can just go ahead and bring your chin to the ground and look at your hands. However, remember to keep a long neck, okay? Always a long neck. You're thinking of opening that heart downward as you lift the belly upward. And believe it or not, if you're doing this in accordance with your body's boundaries, you should be able to talk still. One more big breath here, melting your heart and your throat open to the floor. To come out, just walk your hands back, up and in, underneath your shoulders. And then you can sit back on your heels here. And we're going to end up in a child's pose today. So that'll be our final resting posture. Go ahead and bring your forehead all the way to the ground. And find your ideal child's posture. You can widen your knees. You can wiggle in your hips. Okay, I like a little wiggle when I'm first settling in. Okay. Find some nice settled feeling here in your hips. Okay, heels are maybe not touching your hips, but your hips definitely feel heavy on your heels so that your legs are getting a great massage. And then from here, we can add in a little twist just to recalibrate your spine and cool you after your practice. To do that, you just lift up your head and slide left arm underneath the right, like you're reaching out to the right. And then you can drop that left shoulder carefully to the floor and drop your left side of your head. And just breathe here in this nice little twist. So you're feeling the back of the rib cage spreading open. Allow that to feel nice. Breathe into it. Back of the left shoulder. If you want more, you can reach up with the right hand. And from here, you're thinking of actively opening your arms like you're trying to hug someone that you haven't seen in a long time. Oh, open the arms. Big breath. Okay, you can also drop that right arm across your back and just grab your left thigh. Notice how the twist feels in your belly. Deep belly inhales, deep belly exhales. One more big breath here, massaging your organs. Unwind yourself and slowly come through center to the other side. So this time, looking at the mat, okay, head lifted, your right arm slides under your left. Drop that right shoulder. Drop the right side of your head. And breathe, looking to the left. Maybe stay here. This might be enough. Notice the whole back of the right shoulder and rib cage. You want more? You want to deepen the twist? You can reach up with the left hand. Think of opening your arms to hug someone on the ceiling. Notice how this feels in your right hip, all the way up through your low back. You want to deepen it even more. Take that left hand and grab your right thigh behind your back. Maybe we're taking a last long, slow breath right here. Unwind yourself from here. Take your hands back around front and settle back in to your child's pose. Hopefully feeling nice and heavy in your hips here. Your legs should be very soft. Allow the breath to become just a natural, wild, and free breath. No control over its length or depth. And having turned and twisted and activated and folded your body in so many different ways in this last hour, now let go of all that and do nothing. There's nothing to do now. Just be. Notice how your body feels as every muscle relaxes. Your face, your hands and feet. Deep muscles inside your back and your belly and your legs. Superficial muscles on your scalp, and your belly. Everything soft. With each second, more tension melts away into the earth. And you notice exactly how it feels to be alive right now. How does your body feel? What do you notice about your breath right now, in this moment? Pay attention. Giving yourself the luxury of just being present with your body and your breath and even your thoughts. You're allowing yourself to be in this moment. This is the only moment. This is the perfect moment. From here, friends, start to walk your hands back up and by your knees. Come on in by your hips again. From here, you can sit your hips out to one side. And just find a comfy seat. Okay, blink your eyes open. Sit up nice and tall. And look at the beautiful world around you. Please feel free to keep resting. But if it's time for you to get back to your day, then take this feeling out with you, okay? Thanks so much for practicing with me. This is where I'll leave you for our practice today.